All right, this video is for this rack, which we are about to ship. This rack does two functions. It does what we call a jug fill function for Cetane Express and Cetane Express Plus. Everything goes in the order that you would think it would. The first additive is to the left, the second additive is to the right. The first additive is the top pump, the second additive is the bottom pump. When you come around to the back, the first additive is the one on your left, the second additive is the one on your right. So what's going to happen in the field? Well, both of these have a port for the suction. So we're going to provide you a stainless steel strainer that you can thread on and then do your suction pipe. I don't know where you're going to with your suction pipe, but that's what you're going to do. Power down in this bottom pump, we call it a pump module box, but really it's the meter and the solenoid valves. We have a hot and a neutral and a ground. So just punch a hole, bring in 110 volts to these wires, and that's all the wiring that you have to do. Just to go over it, this is a positive displacement oval gear meter. This counts how much additive we're pumping. There's a DC 12 volt solenoid valve for dyed and for clear. The dyed is the top one, clear is the next one down. The last one is a 110 volt coil for the jug fill port. That's plumbed around and back up to the jug fill ports. Both of these pumps are 3rd horsepower, 110 volts. They're already wired and spinning the correct direction if you just bring in power. This is the other module for this is going to be additive 1 with a meter, a 12 volt for dyed, 12 volt for clear, 110 volt for jug fill. And again, it's plumbed down and around and up to the jug fill ports. These meters give us pulsars. That's how we know how much is flowing through it. You can see the suction of the pump goes through the pump, and on the output we have a pressure relief, and then we have a discharge. So you can see that pump 1 is going to the inlet of the first top module. Okay, so on the front again, this is jug fill for additive 1, jug fill for additive 2. You can see on the back side of the meter modules, there is a cover plate. In the unlikely event that the meter would get some debris in it and need to be cleared of a jam, you can take all those screws out. The back lid of the meter will come off and you can clean any debris out, put it all back together. So you can get to the top one and you can get to the bottom one. Now the bottom one is blocked when you are filling a jug, but it only needs to be accessible when you need to. So if you're going to fill a jug, this little support stand here, the lid to keep the rain out. So you're going to open that. With it open, you've got a wind block here. You're going to set your jug up to whichever one you want. And you're going to, right now it's going to be pumping air, but I'm going to show you. So if I want the first additive, cetane, I press 1, it's going to start pumping. It's blowing air out. I have it set to 0.1 gallons, so it only ran very briefly. On the tip of each of those discharges, not only do we have a ball valve, I would recommend leaving them open, but the reason I recommend leaving them open is you don't need to shut them because this is a check valve with a spring in it. It takes about a PSI to crack it open. The reason I have those there is to prevent all this from draining out when the pump turns off. So it should just stop and be done. It shouldn't sit there and drip. And you can shut them if you'd like, or you can leave them open. We have a magnet here on this side and a magnet on this side to hold the lid open when you are using it. This catch pan here for any spills does have, might not be easy to see, but there's a hole in the back. The whole thing is sloped towards that hole, and there's a drain valve at the bottom. It's closed right now, but that's how you can drain that. And this is sloped this way so that rain will run off. That's our intention anyway. So what's going to happen in the field, you're going to, like I say, you're going to do your suction, you're going to do your power, just 110 volts, and then you're going to do your discharge for your dyed and your clear. So this is additive 1. Dyed, you're going to plumb something from here. You can use compression fittings, whatever you want. We just have a nipple there that's hand tight into the solenoid valve, but you're going to want to plumb that off to your dyed, plumb this off to your clear, and then for additive 2 you're going to plumb this off to dyed and plumb this off to clear. So those are for the second function of this rack. In addition to jug fill, which I'm going to call the primary function, it also will additize automatically into fuel that is being pumped out of a bulk plant. In order for it to do that, it'll have to be switched into the on position, and it will then count diesel. It's got to count for diesel dyed and account for clear diesel. How do we get that count? You're going to have to wire a pulser from your diesel meter at your bulk plant into here for your dyed and for your clear. Now that can be a mechanical pulser or an electronic pulser. As long as it's a 12 volt pulser, it can be either one. I'm going to open this to show you where that's going to get connected. Give me just a second here. All right. So this is not that full. It's fairly simple. It's labeled. So you can ignore everything that's already landed. But you can see dyed pulse and ground. Dyed pulse is 3, ground is 4. So if you've got a 2-wire pulser on your dyed meter, just put the 2 wires there. And then for your clear meter, you're going to be on 5 and 6. All right, and then the rest of it, I think, in order for you to control this from the loading rack, if you'd like to, you can install handle signals right here: cetane dyed, cetane clear, cetane express plus dyed, and cetane express plus clear. Those are all, you can put a manual toggle switch up on your rack, and the toggle switch will go between DC ground and here. So basically, if you pull 13 to our DC ground, it's going to know to put that additive in. If you pull 15 to DC ground, it's going to know to put that additive in. So please call if you have any questions. But how that'll work when you're using it for the bulk plant then is it will watch how much diesel you're pumping, and it will squirt in small batches of the additive at whatever treat rate you have programmed, but it's all automatic. Now it can't do that while somebody's jug filling, so that's why we have this switch here. So if somebody wants to come fill jugs, they're going to turn it down, use the jug fill, and when they're done, they'll flip it back up, and then at the loading rack, there will be remote switches. So the only problem would come is if somebody comes up to fill a jug and somebody else is already using it at the bulk plant. But that'll just be a fight the guys will have to settle out on who wins. Because if the guy comes here and turns this off, the guy at the rack is no longer getting additive until this guy turns it back on. If you ever need help, have any questions whatsoever, this phone number, you'll get to talk to me. I build this and test it and do support on it. So any help you need, I should be able to provide. We can't use the quick latches on this. We have to use the screws to hold it shut because of the busyness of the conduit. It just didn't fit. We will also send you some check valves and ball valves for the destination ports of these. You can use them or you can provide your own, whatever you want to do. The cracking pressure of this relief valve is about 44 pounds. So we have about 45 PSI that we're pushing with. So if you provide your own check valves for these, just bear in mind that we have to overcome the line pressure of whatever your fuel is. So if your fuel is probably at 30, maybe more PSI, you don't want to have a lot of cracking pressure on this. You can use some with no cracking pressure if you want, but I do recommend ball valves and check valves on these, definitely. So that's pretty much everything about this I can think of. Give it power, do a little plumbing, do some settings. The jug fill, like I said, right now is set to 0.1 just for me to test it. If I want to go into the menu to change it, I'm going to press the 0 key repeatedly, and now I'm in the menu. And I can go to injector setup. I can go down to jug amount, and I can change it to, typically I think it's 2.5. You can see that the first time I hit yes, I'm going to go back in there. I don't have a decimal point on here, so the first time you hit yes, you get a decimal point. So if I want to say 2.5 yes, that's how that works. Again, we're happy to help. You can set your treat rates here. There's 4 treat rates because you can have a separate treat rate for cetane into dyed as you do from cetane into clear, or you can have them be the same. Same for Express Plus into dyed or into clear. They can be the same or be different. There's a way to prime your pump. There's a way to calibrate. There's a way to set your date and time, all that stuff. There's diagnostics. We're happy to walk you through it. Call anytime. Thank you for listening.